On the roast here on 95.7 The Game.
Bonte, Shasky, what it do?
What up, Fozzie?
What's up, bro?
Man, we got to trust these guys, man. It's Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch. They turned around this organization. I mean, before they got to the 49ers, who were the doormat of the NFL, coming in last place in the NFC West. I mean, yeah, we missed on some draft picks, but we got some good guys, too. We got Ayuk. He's a dog. Right. He's still under contract. We'll see what happens. But
Fozzie,
other than that,
Fozzie, let me ask you. Let me ask you, Fozzie. When it comes to all the financials and everything we're laying out, are you cool with trading Ayuk to get another young wide receiver in here?
I mean, personally, not really. But if it comes down to it, I mean, I got faith in these guys. These are the same guys that took us to the Super Bowl in the last 2 times in the last 5 years, NFC championships.
Yeah, they've earned
before
it.
that, I hadn't seen that my whole life. Yeah. I'm a younger guy.
How old are you?
My age out there. I'm 27.
Oh, see?
Oh, nice. See, we're still. Fozzie, it makes me feel good that we're still connecting with the youngsters out there.
I mean, I'm not too young, but before that, I mean, I remember Candlestick Park, man. We used to be over there, and then we moved over to Santa Clara, and it was empty there all those years, man. We went to Jim Chonsula. We had the clown who's in Jacksonville now. I mean, we missed on a lot of draft picks, but these guys, man, they got it right.
Yeah.
I'll trust what they do.
Yeah, I'm glad that you bring that up because, I'm kind of with him in the sense they've kind of earned the benefit of the doubt from me that whatever they do, I just kind of got to go with it because the proof's in the pudding. Like okay. You could cite all of the regular season record. Start off 6-10. Obviously, they acquired Jimmy. I mean, it was horrible. They took over an expansion franchise. The next year, the quarterback got hurt. They went 4-12. 13-3, 6-10. The quarterback hurt that year. 10-7, 13-4, 12-5. But those aren't the numbers I would cite. Here are the numbers I would cite. Since getting here, this is their numbers in terms of yardage ranking on offense. Started at 24. Worked their way up to 13, and since then, it's been number 2 overall in the league, number 5 overall in the league, number 3 overall in the league, number 1 overall in the league, and number 8 in the league. They can move the ball, no matter who the personnel is.
Well, they move the ball a hell of a lot better when Brandon Ayuk's in the lineup.
I don't argue that. I have no rebuttal to that. He's
they move the ball
really
a hell of a lot better when he's in the lineup. This, to me, is hustling backwards. When you're moving off of Brandon Ayuk, a premium player that you developed, had him in the doghouse, you see him pop, he run blocks. Some of Christian McCaffrey's best highlights this year is with number 11 downfield blocking. Meanwhile, number 19, Deebo Samuel, there's conversations, when he knows he's not getting the ball, he's running half speed. We've got to work him out of that. Come on, man.
I love Ayuk. I do too, but if we're going blocking, I mean, Jennings is the best blocker on the team at wide receiver.
Ayuk is
but I don't
there.
pay you to.
But Ayuk is right there.
But I don't pay you to block.
And Ayuk is right there, but that makes you a complete wide receiver.
I agree with that, but you don't get $30 million a year because you block.
It's part of it, though.
No,
it's part of it.
In this offense, yes, it's baked into how you play the position.
Let's go to John Lynch, owners meetings. Here's what he had to say about Ayuk.
I was just with Mike Tomlin and at the Michigan Pro Day, and Mike coached me, and so we're very close. And he's like, "Bro, what's going on?" I promise you, we got nothing. Nothing's going on there. We're actively talking with Brandon, trying to figure something out, and I always talk, we have a good history of working with the guys we want to get done to get something done, and it takes 2 sides. So can we do that? We'll see. There's a number of different directions, that it could go, but we appreciate the heck out of Brandon and who he is as a player, and we want him to be a part of the Niners, so we're going to work towards making that a reality.
John Lynch says that. He usually makes it happen. He shares the same agency. Or I believe they had the same agent, Brandon Ayuk and John Lynch. I'm not sure if they still have the same agent. But the talk, and we just now have dove into the whole Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes because it seems like it's a lot of chatter with 49er content creators and YouTubers and
and Ayuk himself. Ayuk put out on his Instagram page, which I wrote down, the draft's in 6 days, fireworks. And then Jaden Daniels is posting photos of Brandon Ayuk and him at ASU when the coach was Pierce.
Oh yeah. Well,
so I mean, this isn't me.
Well,
these are young guys, pretending like hey, the Steelers have been like basically linked to him forever.
What did Debo do 2 years ago?
Oh, he did the same thing.
Did he follow the Jets?
He did a lot.
Did he do all that stuff? And
this is what the modern athletes do.
This is what they do. So I don't really pay attention to what they're doing on social media. But they're doing that to trigger you guys.
I do.
It's going to be fireworks on the drive.
Yeah, but I do look at Washington, the Commanders. They have Adam Peters, who has familiarity with the 49ers. They have a boatload of money, and listen to their picks, okay? And we can argue they're going to take a quarterback.
I'm not just
36, 40, 67, 78, 100. That's what they have. I'm not
going to see.
I want at least two of those.
But I don't want to get it twisted here and saying that there is value in trading a Brandon Ayuk. And I get that there's other teams who may need a wide receiver and want a Brandon Ayuk. But it kind of tells you how good Brandon Ayuk is when a lot of teams are lining up to trade for him. They're like, oh, you want to trade him? Oh, we will take him right now. Oh, you want to trade? You really want to trade Brandon Ayuk? And you want to jumpstart the Washington Commanders? And you want to pair him with Terry McLaurin and Dotson? Are you kidding me?
Well, Dotson,
oh my gosh.
In one of these types of deals, I think the Niners would get back a player like a Dotson who's nowhere near as good as Ayuk, but can sub in and get you like 50 catches or something like that. Like, that's what they would try to do. I look at Kansas City as the model, like, to me, and it's different.
But they have the quarterback.
We do, too.
Brock's really good. They have the quarterback. Well, Brock ain't Mahomes. You first words out of Allegiant Stadium. Of course he's not Mahomes.
No one is
First
Mahomes.
Words out of Allegiant Stadium out of your mouth to me.
No one's
That's
Mahomes.
what I'm saying. So let's stop using the Kansas City model. They're the best quarterback possibly of all time. We have Brock Purdy.
Dallas did the same thing. They moved off of Amari Cooper, and they drafted.
And how much better have they gotten?
Well, CeeDee Lamb had one of the most historic seasons ever.
And they were out in the wild card round.
Well, but they've won double digits.
Back. They've gotten worse
since Mike McCarthy's gotten there. They've won double digits every year.
They've gotten worse since they've moved off of Amari Cooper. They've gotten worse.
I don't know. They had a pretty good year.
Worse. They beat up on all those cupcakes and they inflated their record. And then what happened when they played a real team? They got their asses bounced in the first round. Game was over at halftime. Done. See ya. Come back next season and tell us about the same thing about Brock or Dak Prescott and their weapons out in Dallas. They're done. Let's go to Dave in Fresno. Dave, what's happening?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for getting me in. I'm listening to the conversation. I kind of want to push back a little on this, above approach for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And I'm going to preface my comments. I'm not saying we should fire them. I'm not saying that. So just hear me out. All I'm saying is they should not be above approach. I know we've had some success. We've almost won a couple of Super Bowls. We've been to some NFC championships, and that's great. But frankly, we haven't met the standard. I think they have potential to meet the standard, but I think there's been some major flaws, especially in the draft. And I think this Thursday, there's going to be some pressure on the 49ers because, we found some diamonds in the rough in the later rounds, but we've had some egregious mistakes drafting running backs that never played in the second and third round. Obviously, the Trey Lance have never really invested heavily in the offensive line. I know Aaron Banks is looking solid, but re-signing McKivick doesn't really give people a lot of, hope and all that. So I think that, I'm not saying fire them, but they are not above approach.
They lost. Wait, one second. What do you even mean? I want to make sure I understand. They lost in the Super Bowl in overtime. So what are you saying? Like, they went as far as any other team. Like, what do you mean they're not above approach? What does that mean?
I'll ask you this, and you guys can hang up on me.
I just don't know what you mean.
No, what he's saying is, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. What Dave is saying is, we can still question Lynch and Shanahan because they haven't won it, and they've had multiple whiffs on draft picks and bad free agent signings. Yet, yes, they still are good. They still are talented. But what Dave, I believe, if I'm not wrong, Dave, saying you can still question Lynch and Shanahan because they haven't done it all. Just like Andy Reid got questioned in Philly all those years, just like all these other coaches who don't win it, they are fair to get questioned. Hell, we questioned Bill Belichick, and he's got how many rings, for crying out loud? Go ahead, Dave. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to fire. I see a lot of potential. Shanahan's a great play designer. Let me ask you this. You guys can let me go. Let's just say they don't draft an offensive line early or a defensive back early. And let's say during the season, let's say Trent Williams goes down. How confident are you in the offensive line? Or let's say Tre'Davious Ward gets hurt, for how confident would you be in the secondary? So I feel like they are fully and invested in like their top tier players, and the drop off is too significant. I think instead of drafting running backs in second and third rounds for 4 straight years, or tight ends that don't play, you need to draft guys like Drake Jackson was a second round pick, and you had to go sign more defensive pass rushers for depth. Like, what was the point of that draft pick? So all I'm saying is there's some questions that I would like answers, but I'm not saying they should be fired. They just need to, they need to clean up some of these holes that have been kind of glaring since they got here.
Yeah. I hear you, Dave. I agree with Dave.
They have draft misses, right?
But I agree with Dave. They're not above criticism.
No, I know, but every team has draft misses.
Steve Kerr and Bob Myers are not. We criticize them all the time. They got rings.
No, I get it, but I think that there is this like, oh, they're idiots. It's like they're not idiots.
No, well, nobody.
And I don't think you're saying that. And I don't think you're saying that. But like in terms of draft misses, every team has draft misses. Like last year, let's go back to the Super Bowl. Their third round rookie intercepted Patrick Mahomes. Okay? Their third round rookie. That's what happened in that game. All right? Like that was their highest pick of last year's draft. And yeah, they missed on Drake Jackson. There's no doubt about it. Like no one's arguing. And they traded a third rounder for Chase Young. Chase Young played really good in the Super Bowl. That was about it. They're going to get that third round pick back because he just signed with somebody else. Their number 1 overall pick in 2019 had a great Super Bowl, even though he whiffed on the biggest play of the game in Nick Bosa. They gave him the highest contract in the history of the sport on defense at the time. It was a wildly successful pick. Their 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant quarterback was playing really good in the Super Bowl and has led them in back-to-back years to monumental playoff wins and has been outstanding. So, yeah, there have been a lot of misses, and I don't deny any of that. Like, every team misses. They've hit a lot, too.
Yeah, but what Dave was just saying is that they're not above criticism. They can be criticized just like the best of them. As much as you could give them credit for picks, we could criticize them for picks. Now, overall, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have done wonders to bring the Niners back to relevancy. I mean, they've done wonders. They go to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. They go to all the NFC title games to win a division and control the NFC West. But at the end of the day, we walked out of Las Vegas disappointed thinking, how can we get better? And why weren't we better? Or why this didn't happen? Or why that didn't happen? Well, we walked out the Super Bowl thinking, damn, could have used more weapons, right? Mm-hmm. Damn, could have used more weapons.
Well, I think that's where the draft comes in for me. And that's why, like, I look at the team, they've exhausted.
But the draft comes in, but we're all discussing maybe moving off our best outside of Christian McCaffrey, our most explosive offensive player, and moving off of him for more draft picks.
You traded for Trey Lance, and you lost a ton of draft capital, and that entire trade draft was really bad. And then the next year was really bad as well, and the only thing you really got from it was Brock Purdy.
And then, like, I hear you on taking young wide receivers.
Like, they need to restock.
They took a young wide receiver in Danny Gray.
And I think that was a Trey Lance-style pick, and it hasn't worked out.
Well, they took Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell flamed out in the last 2 months of the season.
I don't know how much what was he, a 7th rounder? You know, like that's where I would say like they need to go back into this one and they need to take multiple wide receivers early in the draft. They need offensive line help. They need secondary help.
I'm fixing the offensive line first. I'm fixing the secondary. I'm fixing the D line. Then I'll get the wide receiver. I'll get the wide receiver after that. And that's baked into I'm keeping Brandon Ayuk around for 2024. Okay. That's
well, if
where
you keep Brandon Ayuk, then yeah, you're probably going to go offensive line with that first pick.
I would do that anyway. Without Brandon Ayuk,
I like playmakers in the first round. That's just my particular template. I'm not against it. Like, hey, if you get Quentin Nelson, you get Quentin Nelson. But I prefer playmakers in the first round.
This team is not hit on playmakers a lot. They struggle getting playmakers. They've got playmakers, but they've struggled. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anthony and Sack, real quick before the injury report. Anthony, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? My first time calling, long time listener.
Thank you,
hear
Anthony.
From you guys.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, man, I just wanted to talk about my draft crush and then get your guys' thoughts on what's that?
Who is it? I want to hear it.
All right, K-State, man, Ben Sinnott, tight end. We've been trying to find a replacement for Kittle for years. This guy is projected to go anywhere from the 4th and the 6th round. I try to be realistic with mine. We're not going to go out and get, Brock Bowers. There's no realistic, so. But Ben Sinnott, man, if you guys got time, watch highlights. I know, Chastity, you love to be watching that film. And
I'm writing it down.
Got great hands. He blocked balls.
Wait, Anthony.
Tremendous. And I saw him in an interview.
Anthony. You know I love watching film too, right?
No, I know.
He likes Mac Jones film.
Oh, stop. No, my dad love you too, bro. I'm just saying, like, he's got that nerd in him where he's watching that film. I didn't know that about you, so my fault.
I'm the one who brought Trey Lance to the table watching film. You don't know about that, Anthony. No, that irks me, Anthony. I love you. Please call back. I'm checking out this Benson Care right now. Ben Sinnott, tight end, 6'3", nearly 6'4", weighs about 250 pounds, was honorable mention, All-American. Honorable mention, All-American out of K-State. Number 30, looks like he wears number 34. Interesting. Yeah, I felt disrespected, man, like I don't like watching film.